Okay, you are in the kitchen with Jelly007.com, and if you're looking for a recipe for pulled pork barbecue that works excellent in your Instant Pot, it's quick and easy in one pot, this is it. I've got Boston butt, and we're going to put all of these ingredients, which is a cup of ketchup, a quarter cup of vinegar, a tablespoon or so of hot sauce, Texas Pete, a half a cup of whole grain mustard, a quarter cup of Lea and Perrins, and a can or can and a half or so of Bud Light. And that's why I call it Bud Light Barbecue. I kind of named it that. It's also going to get a half a cup of light brown sugar. Now that's kind of what a lot of barbecue recipes or barbecue sauces have in them. So this all gets cooked together. It all ends up right here at one spot where all you got to do when it's done is pull the bone out and break it up with a fork and put it on a bun with some pickles or something maybe, and you're done. I found this recipe online, and it's a good one. It works well, and I've got a couple that I use, but this one works as good as any of them. And you can adjust anything like always, and I don't have to tell you that. So we're going to cut to the chase. I'm going to bring you back every once in a while and show you a few of the things that I need to tell you. But honestly, there's everything. I just told you what all's going in it. And it's all going in here, and we're going to cook it for an hour and 45 minutes. And when it's done, quick release and breaking it up with a fork and putting it on a bun. So, it's simple, and it's good. And it's quick. So, be right back and show you where I'm at on that. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I put all those ingredients inside, into the Instant Pot. And just because there's a good bit of solids, or mainly because it's brown sugar, I want to make sure that it melts because I don't want to get a burn light. Because if you put those in there, especially in cold, if you just put a beer out of the refrigerator and put it in here, it's not going to want to melt that. So I've had this on for a few minutes, and it's plenty hot right now. All I'm going to do now is stir it up just a minute. In fact, I'm done. You can see the steam coming up. I got the beer warm so it would melt and suspend, if you would, that brown sugar. I just don't want it sitting on the bottom. Like I said, you might get by with just stirring it and then putting your meat in, but I'd rather warm it. I think sugars and all that melt better under a warm temperature. Anyhow, we're fixing to put this in. I'm going to put this in there and put the lid on and put it on a 1 hour and 45 minute cook or so, 150 or whatever I can get the Instant Pot set to. And I'll bring you back at that point and show you what's happening. Okay, so the hour and 45 minutes has pretty much passed. I've got a few seconds left. And there it goes. All I'm going to do right now is a quick release. And, well, in fact, before I do that, so I won't have to listen to me over that, then all I do is take some gloves or whatever and take the Boston butt out and set it here and break it up and get it like I want it. And then I'll pour the liquid off into this jar. And you'll see this in just a minute, but then I put it back in there and pour only the amount of liquid I want back on it. So, and that's when I put salt and pepper also. I don't salt and pepper before I cook. I do it to taste kind of like I like it. So anyhow, right now I'm fixing to start this quick release. And then when that's done, I'll come back and show you what it looks like when I open it. See you in just a minute. Okay, so you can't see the timer, but it took 6 minutes for that to bleed down if you're keeping up with time. But let's see what it looks like. All right, that'll work. That's what we want right there. So all we have to do now is it's hot, so take my word, it is hot. Just kind of get a hold of it and move it to here. Now, as you can see, this bone will pull out with no problem. There it is. So, we'll get rid of that. Now, all we got to do now, I'm going to let that sit just a minute. I might give it a few minutes to kind of firm back up, and then we're going to pour this into here. And the reason I do that is so I can kind of control how much liquid gets on, in the barbecue. And of course you want to use a Pyrex dish, or this is a measuring cup, but you definitely want to use Pyrex, because it's not anything else is going to break. And you can see what little bit stuck. And that's the only thing about not using a trivet. When you don't use a trivet, it's a little bit of it's going to stick to the bottom. It's not hurting anything. Sometimes it gets a little tricky. And I have used, you could use a trivet without a problem. In fact, you should. That keeps you from getting a burn light maybe. I'm not sure that would cause a burn light. It never has with me, but it could. So, right now, we're going to let this sit just a minute. I'm going to break this pork up right here. I'm going to break this up with my fork and get it ready, and I'm going to put it right back in here. In fact, one of the things you have to do right now is turn off your Instant Pot, because it's still trying to warm an empty pot, so you don't want it doing that. It'll start burning what's in there. Anyhow, right now, I'm going to break this up pretty much. I say fork. I'm going to do it by hand, but I'm going to let it, I want it to sit just a minute. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break it up and put it back in this pot. I may put it back in the pot before I do break it up. It's simple. It's, ever how you want to do it. And then we're going to pour this back in there till we get to the consistency that we want. And then we're going to make barbecue sandwiches. So anyhow, I'll be right back. We'll give this a minute, and we'll be right back and start that shortly. But come right back in just a second. Okay, so all I'm going to do is put this back in here. And then I'm just going to crush it. Just like this right here. Just take your hands and just pull it. That's what pulled pork means. And that's what we're doing. Now, if you see fat or something that you don't want, obviously this is the time to pull it out. But all we're going to do is pull it apart. And it is hot. I ain't gonna lie, even through these gloves. And I have some other gloves that work a little better that I'm probably going to go get, because it's that hot. So, I'll come right back in just a second, and we'll do that with the insulated gloves I have. Okay, so I got my insulated gloves, and believe me, they work. You have to let this sit a little bit longer if you don't have insulated gloves. And then you just break it up, maybe, or even with a fork. You can do it ever how you want to. Just break it up is all you're doing, pulling it apart. So that's just crushing it. So that is really close to what I want. I see a few pieces that might still need to be, shredded up just a little bit. It's really kind of hard to grab and grip with these gloves on, but again, without them, it's really hot. So kind of weigh the two differences. So I'm going to take what's on here, put it in there, which is some of the seasonings that had stuck to the side of the pan too. So mix that up just a little bit. Now the only thing I got to do now is I'm probably going to put just a little bit in there and see how it does, and just kind of add it, till it gets to what I want. So that's pretty much self-explanatory also. But that's what we're about to do. I'm probably going to make a little bit of a mess, but if you left it all in there, it's really, I mean, it wouldn't hurt. It's just really, a lot. Because the pork gives off a lot of liquids, and you've added some liquids, so I ain't got to tell you that. So I'm just going to break it up a little bit more. We're going to let it cool down just a little bit again, and then I'm going to add just a little bit more of this, and you can see how much is left. There's a lot left. So, and all you're doing is making something you can reach in here and make a sandwich out of. So, I mean, it's obvious. But we're going to see how it tastes in just a minute. We're really close to how I'm going to leave it. I'm going to let that right there cook off just a minute, and then probably add a little more. But we're really close. So, I will be back in just a minute. And I guarantee you, that's going to be perfect on a bun. It will be just what you want. It gets sloppy and it's good. But I'll be right back. Okay, so I add a decent amount of salt. It needs it. I mean, I just think it does. I mean, you add like you would like. And pepper is the same way. Fresh ground pepper. You know, just put it in there to your likings. Obvious. And then taste it and see if it's right. The salt, obviously the pepper is going to mean something, but the salt means quite a bit to me. I have to have the salt level. If it's just for me, I'll put a decent amount of it, but it never is. So I just put salt and then I salt it while I'm eating it. Because I love salt a lot more than most of the people that I know. And you can see it still could be broken up a little bit. You could take a fork or your hands and break that up just a little bit. There's a few pieces in there that's still big, but that really doesn't hurt much. Hey, these make great salads. Put it on potatoes, put it on salad, obviously anything. So anyhow, I'm going to let that sit like that for just a minute, and then I'm going to make a sandwich and we're going to eat one. Okay, so there it is, Bud Light Barbecue, and it's excellent. I tasted it. I'm going to eat a sandwich still, but I've already tasted it and it's fantastic. You can see I've used about half of what I poured off, and you can see the liquid level in there, and that's about where I want it. I added salt, and I'm probably going to put more salt on it on the sandwich itself. I usually do. And I'm going to put pickles and some potato chips. So anyhow, I will come back in just a second to show you a sandwich that's made. And take my word, this is a great, easy way to make pulled pork. And I've done it, I do it all the time on a green egg, and other ways it takes 12 to 14 hours. This took probably 2 hours total. And it's excellent. And everybody in your house will love it, or they do mine. But anyhow, we'll get a sandwich made, show y'all what it looks like just for the fun of it, but I'll be right back. Okay, so now it's time to make a sandwich, and I'm sure y'all don't need to be somebody to show you how, but I'm going to, because I want to try it. And it is all that. I assure you, everyone here loves it. I got a feeling they will at your house too. Like I said, I put a little salt, a little extra salt. There's already salt in there. You can add more than I did, which you don't. I just put a few pinches of salt, just because I have people here that they're a little picky about it. So anyhow, the thing that matters is that is a quick and easy pulled pork sandwich that you can put together within a couple of hours, and extremely good. So In the Kitchen with Jelly, jelly007.com, actually, if you want to find me. Bud Light Barbecue, it's great. Make it, try it, see what you think. Comment, share, like, subscribe, all of the above. Anyhow, y'all come back to see me, and I appreciate you watching. And like always, that sandwich is good. Anyhow, y'all come back to see me. Bye-bye.